Thanks, Laura. I'm just going to try and share my screen just now, and then I'll get started. Okay, and hopefully that's shared. Can you see that screen? Sorry.
Yeah, we can see that, Dale. That's great.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, I'm going to keep the screen like this just because when we had a wee practice yesterday, Julie pointed out that it was lagging a little bit when I put it in full screen. So hopefully you can all see that okay. As Laura said, I'm Dale Henderson. I'm the Digital Leader of Learning at Castleton Primary. I'm also a Seesaw ambassador just recently. That's not really seemed relevant until now, so I thought I'd stick that in as well. So I'm going to talk to you about our journey at Castleton, about getting Seesaw up and running in a relatively short space of time, just in case that's relevant to anyone that hasn't yet started or they're still at the beginning of the journey and they're thinking about how they can take it further. On each of the slides, there's a little shape of an iPhone with some quotes from staff in it. If you're getting bored of my voice, then you can have a little read through them. I won't read them off the screen. So starting off, we had one class trialling Seesaw prior to the school closure announcement. It was a primary 4 class. The teacher had used Seesaw before, knew that it worked well, and they were getting positive feedback from parents and from the kids in the class. Our initial plan was to build that up so that all our classes, primary 1 to 5, were using Seesaw and primary 6 and 7 were using Shobi. But just to keep things straightforward, when the school closures were announced, we decided that we would all go for Seesaw just for the families and the staff. So it kind of started the last week of school. We've got some classes set up, but by the end of week 1 of the closures, we had every class signed up. So the ones that had signed up before managed to get their logins and the instructions put into their home learning packs and sent home that week. But there was some that didn't manage to get them done for that time, so we had to email them back to parents, but they were both equally successful doing it that way. So don't worry about being in touch with parents because you can do it all online, which is great. We've now got over 55% of our families connected and engaging with the materials, which is really good for us. We're quite a big school. We've got about 420 kids. Last week, for example, we had over 700 new posts from the kids and over 200 parent visits to the app. There's an administrator page that gives you this kind of information, which is really handy as well if someone was overseeing everything. And the number of our families engaging is increasing every day, which is great. So staff development is kind of tricky. Obviously, we had no time for formal whole staff training, which isn't ideal because we would have liked to have done things very differently. So we were unable to give staff training beforehand. So we just kind of let people find their feet themselves. So the expectations were relaxed at first, just to kind of communicate with the kids, get the families used to using it, see what they've all been up to before we say this is what's expected on which days and things like that. I think maybe if you were setting up from scratch now that people are more familiar with Teams and other platforms, you could maybe do a video or a conference call on something like this and share your screen and talk people through the app. That would maybe solve a lot of issues early on. I've put in here about considering having one member of staff take the lead. I engaged in the Seesaw ambassador training to upskill and try to be better for others. This is really handy if there's a member of staff, maybe it's you, that's really interested in using Seesaw in the school. I did it over a couple of days and it was quite straightforward. You have to refresh your training every year though, and you also have to log at least one occasion that you've supported others with Seesaw. But that could be, for example, a whole staff training event, or it can just be helping one person get set up and logged on. So it's just helping someone else out. So it's definitely felt worth it to me. I felt like I can answer a lot more questions now when people come to me for help. Seesaw are also very helpful though. Their website provides PD in your PJs, which is professional development in your pajamas, something that's very suitable right now. And it's got lots of how-to videos on YouTube as well. So staff can work their way through that if there's something that they're finding especially tricky and they want help with. In terms of organisation, obviously every class is now... Yep, sorry.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you just for a little minute.
Yep.
Just a few people are saying that we can hear audio but not see the presentation. I can see it on mine and so can Lisa, but could you do me a little favour? Could you not share, like unshare your screen for a little minute and then share it again? See, is that all right? Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. How's that now?
That's great. I can see it on mine, and I think Lisa can see it on hers. What we'll do, I know you're all very, very kind and you'll be willing to share your presentations at the end.
Absolutely.
So I'll put them in the files. That's great, Dale. Thanks so much. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Sorry, yes. So every teacher's obviously now in control of their own class. They're setting work and they're giving feedback to the kids. The head teacher's in every class in the school just to oversee things. She's used the tool to send out messages to families, send out videos, reading stories to the children, which has all been really nice. The head of the department, so the deputies for the lower school and the upper school are in obviously the classes in their department. They're using it very similarly to the head teacher. Someone maybe needing to turn the mic off. That is. Okay, the nurture teacher and the principal teacher are part of the classes which have children that they work with daily. So they've got little groups of children that need a bit more support. So it's nice for them to check in and make sure they've been in touch and things. And if not, they can maybe chase that up. Any teachers who are not class committed, so don't have a class of their own, have now been assigned to a class. So they're assisting and providing activities, which really helps the teacher as well. We're now at a point where we've set out. Sorry, we're now at a point where we've set out formal expectations, what's expected from each class, and for continuing on, this is just kind of a repeat of things that we've said, but we're going to continue to support families and help them in the joining process. Our management team over the last couple of weeks has been in touch with every family in the school, and that's really helped iron out any problems that anyone's had. Sometimes there's issues with the Seesaw family and the Seesaw class apps, two different apps that can do two different things. So any little questions they've had, we've been able to solve out over the phone, which has been really handy. We want to keep considering what we're asking of the staff and the pupils. It's obviously a tricky time for everyone. So our management team have been very understanding and the expectations aren't set too high and we're just constantly reflecting on them. We are having staff catch-ups and meetings on Microsoft Teams to discuss lots of things and plan going forward. And as I said, management keeping in touch with the families. And moving forward, we're going to look at sharing activities between stage partners and formalising how and when to give feedback. We're not wanting this to be your only activity that you're doing every day is running your Seesaw page. We've got lots of development things going on as well. Just before I pass back over to Julie, I'm going to show you some examples of the work that we've been receiving. So at early level, a lot of the kids maybe used it at first. They had their home learning packs home and they were using it to upload the work, which is good because they can get the feedback from the teacher that they might not have had otherwise. Children have been more creative. You can see the little boy there. Flowers and things like that. And there's been other tasks that you've set, something like the Cosmic Kids Yoga there at the bottom right. That's something maybe a teacher would never be able to see before. They would just set it and hope that they've done it, but it's nice to see pictures and evidence of it all happening. Much the same at first level, children using their own initiative for designing the activities that they want to do. I like the one about learning to tie their shoelaces. I think that's a really nice thing for the teacher to be involved in and feel part of that journey that they're going on. Obviously setting work and tasks on Seesaw, but also allowing them a bit of creativity, like the wrestling ring up at the top right. It was great to see that too. As we're going to look at second level, it's good to see still sharing some creativity. They've obviously got their iPads at our school. Primary 6 and 7 have all got an iPad each, so they've got them at home at the moment, which makes it more accessible. So they've set tasks. They've been doing random acts of kindness, some creativity. You can see at the top left that the teachers also started editing the work that they upload to actually mark it on the work, which is nice for the children to look back on and see. So thank you very much. If anyone has any questions or feedback, please get in touch. I put my Twitter handle there and my email address, and I will put this slide up for anyone that missed any of the slides. Sorry about that, I don't know why that was. But I'm going to end my screen share now, and Julie is going to take over from Miller. Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dale.
No worries.
Hopefully I'm going to share my screen now, which should hopefully appear in just a wee second. I know some people are having problems with it. If you can't see my slides, then they are mostly photographs and screenshots, so I will share them afterwards so you'll be able to see them. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, hear you fine, Julie.
Brilliant. Also, I'm Julie, I'm the DLOL at Miller, and what I'm really going to focus in on today is how, as a staff, we are using Seesaw and Showbie to communicate and interact with our learners during lockdown. So this is what our whole school approach looks like. We use Seesaw in primary 1 to 5 and Showbie in primary 6 and 7, and that was decided at our iPad rollout in February. We now have daily activities going up for each class on their platform, one literacy, one numeracy, and one other curricular area. And this week we've added the 30 days of creativity tasks from Glasgow Create and the Apple Glasgow RTC as well. We've also set out a range of clubs on these platforms that children can dip in and out of. We're currently at about 50% uptake on our digital platforms, and we have been in contact with all families, and we're in process of issuing new paper-based packs to those who have connectivity issues, stopping them interacting with the digital platforms. And we've got help videos available to guide families in how to join in. What we've seen throughout this is that really the Seesaw and Showbie tools are a way of extending our existing relationships with the children and families in our school. And what I'm going to focus on today is the successes that we've had in that area. So part of that is we've recently added our support for learning workers to Seesaw and Showbie as well. So they're also able to comment on the children's work and interact with the children and make sure our whole Miller family is still together even though we're apart. I'm going to take you into some screenshots now. This is a look at Seesaw with the journal part of Seesaw. The journal's seen by the child and their family and the teacher only. And here a child's uploaded a video from their daily walk. So we get lots of check-ins from children of just things that are going on in their daily life. Their exercise, we've had people learning to ride their bikes, going for their daily walk up on their rollerblades. But we've also had parents using this tool to check in, asking for advice on how to complete particular tasks or just with home learning in general. So again, we've been able to maintain that relationship we have with families at the school gates on the new digital platform. We've also had children checking in, just sending little messages about missing their teachers or missing their friends. And that's been really valuable for teachers to be able to check in and just reassure our children in these difficult times. I saw someone ask about Seesaw. We have the paid Seesaw, but I think it's still on the free premium just now, but Claire Harvey has all the details on Seesaw Showbie premium free features. Over here we also have the inbox. So you can send messages to your classes, and our teachers send daily messages checking in with the children, letting them know what to expect from them online learning today. They can also record those messages so that the children can hear them speaking. They can upload videos and photos. We are not using the family features just now. That's part of the Seesaw family app, and we are trying to keep things as simple as possible as part of our approach. So we are only using Seesaw Class and Showbie for the relevant classes, and all the learning and messages we put out to the children comes through those platforms. In terms of the daily tasks that I talked about, we assign activities to the children, and these can be uploaded as videos of yourself talking. You can upload screenshots of you showing things to the children. You can record those instructions. There's a whole lot of ways, and that would be a whole nother webinar all of itself to show you about the activities on Seesaw. But a really good feature in terms of teacher workload, both on Seesaw and Showbie, is that you can assign activities and schedule them to appear later on. So these are some activities scheduled for later on in the month. They'll appear automatically at that time to the children in that class. And I think when we're all learning how to work in these strange times, this has been really important for teacher workload in terms of managing these platforms. It's also really useful for teachers sharing a class because they can see what each other are scheduling and check in with that. I'll run through a few examples of some activities that we've had success with. In primary 3, our emoji maths is really popular, that outcome about replacing a number with a symbol. But on this, what I really liked about this example was page 1 was the template that the teacher had assigned with the questions, but page 2 on the right hand side, that's the child has added that page to explain their thinking and show how they got the answer. So just like in the classroom, we are trying to encourage children to show their thinking, they can do this on this platform as well. But it's been really important as teachers when we're designing activities to consider children's access to devices. So although it's great that Seesaw and Showbie have online templates you can use, we also think about how children can upload offline work. So here the child has done a piece of work on the template on the right hand side, but the child on the left hand side did that piece of work on paper. So they were able to check in with what the task was, then go away from their tablet, go off the internet, do the task and upload it later on. So when you've got families maybe sharing devices or you're limited in your connectivity when people can log on, that's really useful for being able to allow families to interact in different ways. That's just some other examples of offline tasks that children have uploaded. So we've had some kitchen weighing and measuring. We've been following our sunflowers that were sent home from the end of the Primary 1 project, and some science as well. Showbie set up really quite similarly. We've got morning check-ins where the teacher sends a message letting the children know what to expect for the day. There's also a shared discussion area there. We're looking forward to developing this, hopefully finding ways for the children to do some group work, because right now we're really focused on individual work. Similarly, in Showbie, we can send voice notes to the children explaining their tasks and upload templates. And the children can also get back with uploads of their work. So this is another example where the child, although there was an online template, they actually completed the work offline and then uploaded later on. And this was one they really enjoyed, so they asked them for some more of. And I think that's been something that's been really important as a staff, responding to what the children are engaging with and kind of following those paths, just like we do in the classroom. I've got another example here where we were making some music on GarageBand. Because our 6s and 7s have their iPad rollout, we can be a bit more specific about what apps we'd like them to use. In this example, the child completed the original task, got some voice note feedback from their teacher, but they actually came back to it a week later of their own accord, creating a second piece of music and asking their teacher to listen to that as well. So really maintaining those connections between the teachers and the children. I'm going to finish up by quickly talking about our clubs. They're run by Jackie Church, our principal teacher, who runs our clubs in school. We've got an art, gymnastics, football, music, dance and a science club that now includes baking. And she consulted with the children on the types of clubs and tasks that they would like to see. We've also got our support for learning workers involved in suggesting activities for the clubs, and Miss Church is working to further develop this. So these are set up as additional classes in Seesaw that we've added all the children to, and they're nestled within the health and wellbeing classes in Showbie for the 6s and 7s. So just a couple of examples. One of the things that's been really nice about the clubs is children getting involved in their running, and also engaging learners that maybe haven't been tuning into their academic tasks. The picture of a rabbit there was done by a child who hasn't really been engaging with their literacy and their maths, but the art club got them joining in and making contact. So we were able to start a conversation there. So again, finding something that interested that child and developing it further. Our baking club, this slide makes me hungry, so I'll skip past it quite quickly, but that came from a child's suggestion. And we now have loads of baking and cooking going on in our houses. We've had a socially distanced YMCA in the back court. We've also had children creating instructional videos for the adults, teaching us how to do the splits, which will be able to be used and shared with other children in the future. And we've had children requesting more of these kinds of activities. So again, finding the things at this really difficult time for our children that they are enjoying and engaging with. Our music clubs used real keyboards, it's used GarageBand keyboards, and it's used instruments made from whatever you can find around the house. I'm sure the parents really loved us on Create Your Own Drum Kit Day. But we've also had music quizzes that the parents and families that got involved in that were really positive about the experience of that as a family. So again, coming back to the relationships that are so key to make this work. And just to prove that you don't need to be able to take pictures to join in, we've got one little girl who's not uploading photos, but they are showing through their drawing on screen how they're also joining in with the clubs. Just to finish up with some feedback from the children in green and the adults in blue. And what comes through again and again is the fact that this is opening up a channel between us and our children. It's not someone anonymous, it's not a blank website, it's the children know this work comes from us and they get feedback from us, and the parents are able to make contact and see their children's work. They're enjoying how this is allowing them to interact with their children. We've set it up so that there's assigned times that teachers are on Seesaw and Showbiz. That's something that they manage and communicate with members of staff. So the parents know it's not an immediate feedback system. They know the kind of school hours. But yeah, the children like hearing the teachers' voices. They enjoy doing work assigned by their teachers. And the adults are enjoying seeing how their children are getting on. I would say over the course of this, it's been a bit of a trial by fire, but our teachers are now really enjoying using Seesaw and Showbiz to share learning with their children. And when we go back to school, whatever that looks like, we will still be using these apps as part of our learning, because I think now, especially for the primary 1 to 5s with the 1 to 5 iPad ratio, Seesaw is really unlocking how we can make best use of those devices. So sorry, I feel like I flew through that. It was really quick. So if you want to know more about anything that we've been doing or have a chat about using Seesaw or Showbiz, the contact details are there. And I'll stop sharing my screen and pass over to Heather, if I can.
Okay. Right. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to start sharing my screen now. 1 second. Okay, can we see this? Are people? Yep. Can we see this?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Oh, brilliant.
Heather.
Okay. Okay, right. So I'm Heather Smart. I'm the DLO at Carmunnock Primary. And I'm just going to run through some things of how we've been using Seesaw and Showbiz in Carmunnock. Kind of similar to what Julie and Dale were saying, but there is some differences there. So we actually started our journey with these two apps before, quite a while before actually the whole world went a bit crazy. We originally were using Seesaw. We've tried to use Seesaw as an online learning journal that would hopefully one day replace the paper learning logs, just that we feel as a staff and the kids as well, to be honest, feel that they can show their learning in many more different ways than they can just writing out a sentence and drawing a wee picture in their learning log, and it seems to be quite popular. As for Showbiz, we kind of experimented it with before, and then obviously we knew the schools were closing and it was kind of a bit of a mad rush to set up our classes, but we got it done. And now we're using Showbiz to connect with the children at home to do some remote learning. Before, I think the best thing when you're using both the apps, whether it's Seesaw to do like learning logs, or if it's Showbiz to do it as like an online classroom, the children really need to know a basics of the core apps of the iPads, whether it's on the shared iPad or the one-to-one iPad with the 6s and the 7s. It allows the children to learn different skills for different apps, and then when you're asking them to showcase their learning or to do a project or a task, they can pick what apps work best for them. And all the apps are pretty easy to use. Some are a wee bit more difficult than others.
Sorry, I'm just doing this webinar.
Clips, I think, is one of the best that the kids can use. It allows them to make videos and put in text and pictures, and it's great for getting them to make instructional videos. I've actually posted videos in here, but as we learned yesterday for our practice, you can't actually hear the audio, so it's kind of renders it pointless. Anyway, as a teacher, you can record learning conversations. So if children are learning using different things, you can video it. put it on Seesaw, and then the parents will get a notification right away. And it shows exactly what their children are doing, how they're using it, and what Glasgow Count strategies they're using. What is better, though, is if the children do it themselves. So again, if you ask the children to create a video, an instructional video, or just to show their learning how they've done something, you really start to understand how they've learned it, and you can tell that they're starting to use the proper language as well. And again, they do it all independently. They go off, they use different resources, and they video it, mostly using clips. Most of these were used using the Clip app, and then they can post it on Seesaw. It's had a great impact on parents as well. I've taken some wee pictures of, again, a video that we couldn't show. This is a wee boy in my class who struggles to, he'll forget 5 minutes later what he's learned. So when he goes home and mum asks, oh, how was your day? What did you get up to? What did you learn? He can't tell her, he can't verbalise it. So what we did is I videoed him doing a division sum, and he was using the grouping strategy. And you could see that he was physically putting out all the cubes. And in the video, you can hear him count that there's 2 in each group. So that's how he figured out 20 cubes divided into 10 groups was 2. And then when I spoke to mum at parents' night, she was thrilled with the video. She said it was the first time she actually saw and understood how he had learned something and how he understood it using the Glasgow Count strategy. So it does have a good impact on parents. In terms of during the lockdown, you can have a private message with parents as well. You first need to send out a family announcement, which is I did that at the start, and then it allows parents to privately message you. So I've had a few messages, some just needing support, and some parents unsure about tasks and just a bit worried about using Wi-Fi and things like that. And I think that when they have a platform that they can message you privately, it just gives you an opportunity just to calm them down, because I think parents are a little bit more worried at the minute than I think we are realising. So that's a great way to keep in contact with them, where they can maybe speak to you in a way that they wouldn't want the children to hear about. So that's Seesaw. I'm going to move. So in terms of Seesaw, using it as a learning log, it allows children. It's definitely more accessible. It gives children a wee bit more independence. They can take the learning log and totally make it their own. They can use pictures and videos, different colours. It's much better than just using a piece of paper as well. What the children love is that it goes to the parents straight away. The parents can get a notification to their phone, and a child can be sitting in class doing their learning log on Seesaw, and they get a notification from their mum saying, great, well done, and it just thrills them. They absolutely love it, so it really drives them as well. Another thing that's great about Seesaw is that it's kind of like a class Facebook, so all the children can see each other's posts, so they can comment with voice notes and comments to support each other's learning as well, which is a lovely thing that they do. They go on and they say to their friends, like, oh, that's a great job and stuff, and again, that drives them as well. And it allows for a different range of different medias and different apps and things. So there's lots of things you can do with it. I'm going to move on to Showbie now, and this is what we've been using during the lockdown in order to send work home. It's really easy to create a class. When you sign on, you go to the spanner, click new class, type in the name, and then you need to get your children logged on. Make sure your children write down their username and their password, because that can get a bit crazy. And then what I would do is organise your work into folders. Again, really easy to do that. Just click the spanner, click new folder, and then you can organise it into different folders. If you're sending 3 tasks a day, it can get a really, really long list. So having it all organised, it's a lot easier for the children to find their work. And then you've got all the different tasks there. Okay, and you can set it up for days coming. So you just lock it, and then you can unlock it when you're ready to set the children up. And in terms of what they send back some fabulous stuff. So you can give the instructions if you just type it, or if you have children in your class who might struggle to read it, you can do it via voice note as well. So this, I just asked them to create a PowerPoint slide about their favourite person, whether it be a YouTuber or whatever. And this is where you really see the children using the transferable skills. So I've had one girl who created a keynote and sent it to me. And then I had another girl who, I honestly don't even know how she's done this. She's obviously I mean, you can really see that she's learned transferable skills and she's gone off and done something. So she's told me about a YouTuber, she's split the screen, she's used different types of media and pictures, and there was a video included there as well. For literacy, I've sent home a wee task, just to get them to highlight, so you can scan in a page of a book. So I literally just grabbed that as I ran out the door the day the schools were closing, scanned it in, asked them to highlight the describing words, and from that they had to draw the picture. So it's quite good that you can use different strategies at home just by quickly scanning something in. It doesn't have to be always constantly writing and things. Also asked them to do a diary entry. I said you could use whatever you wanted. You could write it out by hand or you can type it, and lots of them typed it. And then maths, I got them to survey their family about their favourite flavour of ice cream or things, and then they had to use it and use that data and put it into a graph. And obviously I taught these skills before, so I knew they could do it, and what I was really seeing was, can they use the skills to go and do it digitally. As you can see, one of the girls here decided to draw it, and that's absolutely fine. Some children still don't feel as confident at home using those skills, just because obviously it might be also that parents aren't as comfortable as well. But then you do see that children can use online media as well. Bear in mind that at home they might not have access to iPads. There might be more than one child in the house that are all sharing. So it's absolutely fine if they just use pen and paper and draw it. So it's got a great impact using ShowMe. It definitely encourages the learners to use different skills, different digital skills, and it allows them to be a bit more creative as well. So you ask them to do one thing and you get the same task in like 3 or 4 or 5 different ways. So it's really quite interesting to see how they've done it and how they've put their own wee mark on it as well. And as for staff, I've definitely heard that it reduces workload. I think that the marking is a lot quicker, it's a lot more swift. You can type your responses, but you can also do a voice note as well, and it's definitely more accessible. You can say so much more and go into so much more detail in 10 seconds than what you can type. And even if you did type it, we all know that there'll be some learners who A, can't read it, or B, might not be able to be bothered. Whereas if they are hearing your voice, they are much more engaged and they're much more interested in that. So I'll stop there. And I've just left this my email address. If you have any questions or anything that you want to ask me, just drop me a wee email, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to Dale, Heather and Julie there for that fantastic input. There's so many positive comments, and I know you'll be very kind to share your presentations as well. Just a wee update on Seesaw Pro. It's currently free to all at the moment, so every teacher in the school can use it. At some point in the future, schools will be contacted to see if they want to continue it, and it will be at a cost of £2.88 per child. But if you don't want to continue, you won't be charged. So it's a great opportunity just now to use Seesaw, and it's something to absolutely think about. So great stories there. It was great to see all the kind of different creative approaches that the children are using as well, particularly when we're celebrating the 30 Days of Create now too. So thank you so much to our 3 colleagues this morning for coming along to do that. That was wonderful. The session has been recorded today, so we'll upload that to the YouTube channel, and I'll pop that onto the general feed as well so that you can access that or share it with staff. So tomorrow's Coffee Break Learning is with Richie McComb from Notre Dame High, and he's going to be presenting about his consistent whole school approach to engaging with the young people in his school, and also highlighting the importance of the strategic planning that was behind implementing the use of teams to ensure the consistent approach with colleagues and with the learners that he works with. So that will be from 10 o'clock tomorrow, going live at 10:30. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the sunshine today and the long weekends when it comes. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks again to our presenters.
Thanks, bye.